Hello and welcome to the program. I am Amarachi Ubari. Many have often wondered whether Nigeria and Africa will ever be seen as equal partners on the world stage. And it appears affirmation is coming from the East as Japan keys into developments on the continent. President Muhammadu Buhari was at the 7th edition of the Tokyo International Conference on African Development in Yokohama, Japan. And here's what we found out.
Over 20 African leaders converged on the Japanese city of Yokohama for the 7th edition of the Tokyo International Conference on African Development. And it was time to check in on the numbers. The Japanese Ministry of Foreign Affairs says Japan has invested at least $20 billion in the continent from 2016 to 2018. Not much when put against China, which is one of Africa's largest investors, larger than France, India and the United States. But the Japanese would like to look ahead, saying that the continent, blessed with abundant natural resources and a steadily increasing population, Africa's economy has high growth potentials and is developing into a region that attracts global attention. According to the Japan External Trade Organization, Japanese foreign direct investment in Africa has been falling in recent years, from $9.99 billion at the end of 2016 to $7.82 billion in 2017, before rising to $8.78 billion. And experts say that the country's biggest firms have been too focused on Asia as a market and manufacturing base, which is one reason they appear to be lagging behind other countries in doing business in Africa. However, at the conference in Yokohama, the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe said there is something Japan wants to do with Africa to protect the Indo-Pacific that connects Japan and Africa as international common goods with the rule of law. He later announced that Japan would offer enhanced trade insurance to boost private sector investments in Africa, which would fully cover loans to African governments, the affiliated institutions or private companies buying Japanese goods for infrastructure projects in Africa. He said he wished to strengthen ties between Japan and African nations, but did not make a major funding announcement at the Tokyo meeting. Unlike in 2016, when Japan pledged $30 billion in public and private support for infrastructure development, education and healthcare in Africa over 3 years. While the UN Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Guterres, addresses the conference, talked about the critical role of TICAD in Africa.
And TICAD has played a critical role in focusing international dialogue on Africa, built on the twin principles of African ownership and international partnership. Its partnerships have made important contribution to Africa's economic transformation through entrepreneurship and trade. And they have supported increased access to health services, education, water and sanitation, and helped promote peace and stability.
Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari, in his presentation on Thursday, promised to launch the Japan-Nigeria Business Facilitation Council when he returns to Abuja.
Our government is implementing homegrown and private sector-driven economic measures that are predicated on good governance, infrastructure, and human capital development, as well as business climate reform. We therefore invite the private sector to come and invest in Nigeria.